Op deze zonnige vrijdagochtend. En we nemen weer een podcast op vandaag. Met Hassen. Een hele inspirerende reiziger op het Jinkies-pad. En hij spreekt alleen Engels. Dus we gaan tussendoor wel wat stukjes vertalen. En we hopen dat het lukt om ondertiteling bij deze podcast te zetten. Nienke, jij ook. Goedemorgen, fijn dat je er ook bent.
Ja, fijn, Tanja, hartstikke leuk. En Hassen kwam eigenlijk, dat is misschien leuk om te vertellen, kwam eigenlijk bij ons. Wij hebben vorig jaar de grote boeklancering gedaan van het dikke boek. En we hebben daarin nauw contact met België, want het is voor het hele Nederlandse taalgebied. En Hassen kwam dus bij ons vanuit het Belgische. Hassen spreekt ook vloeiend Frans. En ja, dus we vonden het toch een match om met Hassen in het Engels en in het Nederlands een podcast op te nemen. Do you understand anything that I'm saying?
It feels a bit familiar. I heard this language before. I lived actually the last year in Kruijbeke, close to Antwerp, between Antwerp and Ghent, actually, and that was in a place called the Pentagram, which is a conscious community. We were five people in a big house in nature, opening the space for cacao ceremonies, ecstatic dance, sound healing, and gatherings of a beautiful tribe, 80 to 100 people. And even though I don't speak Dutch, I can resonate with beautiful words, you know, like denk by head and nice words that I think I only know the nice words in a
Yeah.
language, which is a bit awkward because most people start by learning the bad words. I don't even remember any one of them. Since I
Good.
was immersed in this conscious circles, and it was always about connecting with nature, with the elements. But my level of Dutch is like let's say a 3-year-old kid or maybe lower.
Perfect.
Yes.
But anyway, it's nice to have you in our podcast. And well, we were inspired, and it was also intriguing to hear from you how you live at the moment. You have traveled a lot this last weeks, and you live with the Jinkies.
Yes.
Um,
So
maybe,
I'm in France basically because I am visiting a Gene Keys guide, uh, who happened to have host Ninka as well. So I said, I have a call with a friend. Can I just take 1 hour? And she said, who is that person? Oh, Ninka, she was here. It's amazing. So we have these kind of synchronicities when I believe that we exchange keys with each other. That's what I love sharing with people in my workshops around the Gene Keys or the Gene Keys retreats that I hold. And wherever we meet, we exchange those keys. So it's maybe a bit weird for people to understand, but I believe that we are more than this physical body. So we have multidimensional layers. And one of them is simply the archetypal codes. And this is above the mental realm.
Yeah.
So this is where we get our inspiration. This is where we get our thoughts. And what I'm saying is starts to come from the ego mind or whoever I think I am. If I start about talking about my biographical identity, the fact that I was born in Tunisia 36 years ago, and then around 31, I moved to Belgium, and then I found myself reborn in Belgium. That was the moment where I got a lot of time to focus on my interests and going into the inner journey. And at that moment, when you just hold that space, there is a certain frequency that you start to communicate to each other. But I can also say a bit more about my adventures and how I came here. But that
Yeah,
was still
maybe
Mhm.
just a little translation space. Is that
Yeah, possible, of course. Go ahead.
Dus wat Hassan zegt, en dat doe ik echt in een notendopje. is dat hij in Tunesië geboren is en op een gegeven moment naar België is verhuisd en daar, maar in Franstalig België. En daar grotendeels is opgegroeid en daar ook een verschuiving heeft mogen laten plaatsvinden in zichzelf, waardoor hij veel meer naar binnen is gaan keren, bewust is geworden. En waar hij over, daarom, dat vonden wij ook zo interessant aan deze podcast, waar hij over gaat vertellen is hoe hij eigenlijk besloten heeft om een soort uitdaging aan te gaan met zichzelf. Dat hij, maar dat gaat hij straks zelf vertellen, dat hij nooit langer dan 1 of 2 nachten, ik kan het niet meer herinneren, ergens slaapt en dan dus weer doorgaat. En vlak voordat hij hieraan begon, is hij dus een tijd in een soort co-creatieve, bewuste gemeenschap in België geweest, waar hij ook omringd was door Nederlandstalige mensen, zo ook die Nederlandstalige community in België heeft leren kennen. En wat hij aangaf, wat ik ook heel leuk vind, is door zijn experiment, is dat hij ons wil laten zien ook van we zijn een fysiek lichaam, maar we linken ook via allerlei andere laagjes. We linken ook bijvoorbeeld via onze gene keys. Dus zodra je andere mensen ontmoet, maak je al een connectie via gene keys, wat je zelf niet in de gaten hebt. Nou, in een
En
nutshell.
dat, ja, en dat wat ik daar zo leuk aan vind om in aan te vullen, en dat doe ik dan nu weer even in het Engels, want dat klinkt leuker. It's not only sharing gene keys, but it's also sharing home keys in your case now. Because you travel from door to door, from place to place, and people are opening up. They share their homes, so they share their home key because you share the gene keys, and that's so beautiful.
It started with a crazy idea. So I said that I was in the pentagram for a whole year, from 1st of April to 15th of March, and I went to Tunisia to visit my family, and I spent 2 weeks there. And it felt like the message was, go, stay there, we will take care of the rest. When you come back, there will be a new chapter. That was the message that I was receiving from my soul. So when I came back, I said, okay, I don't need to have a fixed address and to have a house. I should be able to hold home in my heart and walk the earth as a free human being. And there are a lot of things that we say, but we don't embody yet until we face the challenge or the fear, if there is a fear of being homeless and not having a roof. And there is a lot of anxiety, I think, that is encoded in our genes related to that part of maybe insecurity or old traumas. People have always been chased and they couldn't stay in a place and they had to decide to settle and to create cities and to create the society we live in today. But I feel that this is something we need to transcend. And that starts with each one of us doing the inner work and checking in with those fears. So for me, I decided that I would be going in a 30-day homeless challenge that started on the 1st of April. So for the whole month of April, I didn't have a house, but I had many friends, many people that I didn't even know about. I just felt that I needed to speak up, to put myself in the public space and be vulnerable. I shared a reel on my Instagram. I shared with a couple of other groups that I belong to, and I feel that there is this part of being part of a tribe or a community, and you think you have a lot of friends, but actually you only know if you really have friends when they show up.
Yeah.
And you need to be compassionate also with those who do not show up. So I was trying to do this inner journey at the same time I was doing the outer journey. So I was traveling in Holland. I started with Holland. Actually, a friend invited me outside of Belgium. The first one was in Holland. I stayed 2 days there, and then I went to the journey started from there. So I need space to translate because I think then it will be a bit longer.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, beautiful.
Ja, het is heel mooi om te horen hoe Hassen vertelt over zijn challenge. Omdat hij het gevoel had zijn eigen angsten en onzekerheden en vaste patronen in het leven aan te gaan. Dus hij was in Tunesië bij zijn familie en daar voelde hij dat zijn innerlijk riep van ga maar gewoon. Je hebt geen huis nodig, je hebt geen plek nodig. Ga maar gewoon. Dus hij sprak met zichzelf af om 30 dagen op pad te gaan, een hele maand vanaf 1 april. En wel te kijken waar hij terecht kwam. En overal zo eens 1 of 2 nachten te zijn. En hij bleek heel veel vrienden te hebben die hij helemaal nog niet kende, maar waar hij zich kwetsbaar bij op durfde te stellen, zichzelf opende en wilde laten zien. En ook zijn innerlijke wereld deelde en daarover vertelde. En dat heeft prachtige verbindingen teweeggebracht. En nou ja, het is een beetje ook ontstaan vanuit de behoefte om iets te transfigureren. Om de maatschappelijke structuren zoals ze er nu zijn. Het idee dat we moeten wonen op 1 plek, in 1 stad, dat dat zich om ons heen vormt. Om dat helemaal los te laten en om dat opnieuw te gaan vormen. En ja, dat is echt heel inspirerend. Dat je gewoon zeg maar homeless kunt zijn. En eigenlijk zoveel thuizen ontmoet, zoveel homes weten
Mm.
te vinden dan voor jezelf. En dat er uiteindelijk 1 home is en dat is in jezelf. Dus
Mm.
I translated a bit. Thank you.
Yeah.
And Hassan, I have that question that coming up now. Because if we look at Jinki's profiles, that basic safety, what you're talking about, that you wanted to challenge with this challenge, is mostly found in the first line, right? Where it's really about grounding and feeling a safe place also physically and have this
Mm.
kind of routine where we are covered with the house and with our coffee in the morning and with our stuff, you know.
Mm.
So do you have first lines in your profiles maybe?
And that's funny because now I'm hosted by Eve, and yesterday night we were going through our profiles, and she said, "Do you have a routine or a habit, a daily habit?" Because that's a line one thing, and then we checked. Oh, actually, I only have one line one, and that's my bird. And going from there, I have to share the fact that I finished the guides program around January or February, end of January, and I initiated a series of 3 retreats, in-person retreats around the Pearl sequence. So it started in March in Belgium, then April in Alsace in France, and May will be in Switzerland. So the idea is that we go through this in-person retreat, exploring the pearl and holding space for this 24-hour space where we create. It's not that much that we create magic. I feel that we hold space for magic to happen. There is a shamanic space that you can open with the gene keys there. This is an intelligence that is alive. It's more than what's written in the books. It's archetypes that we can connect to. Mind, for me, the line one was the only line that answers your question. It thrives when you're able to create that stability for yourself and you don't need that much of a daily routine or outside, let's say, markers. And the pearl has a very subtle, because it's not the life's work, it's not the radiance. It's one that is inside of us, and you need to connect to your pearl through the quantum space, and that is a lot more subtle. For me, it's the 20, Jinkin 20. And I have the 20 also in my evolution. So this was how I got my lessons. And my culture is the 20 as well, 20 line 5. And if you are impressed by the 20, I also have another one in my conscious moon because I was born on a full moon on the 20.2, both Earth and Moon. So there is something about embodying this self-assurance, and I have to share my contemplation about the 20 and self-assurance, and it's really the one that goes in depth. It's about this inner journey. You don't stay within the surface of conversations about what do you do in life, How do you earn a living? These kind of superficial topics. Because when I meet people and I know I will only meeting them for one day or maximum two, because that was the rule in my challenge, that I don't stay more than 2 nights in the same place. So I was pushed to keep looking for the next opportunity and the next invitation. So there is something about self-assurance, which is not about the ego self. It's about the higher self. And when you go into that level of depth, it's the ego self recognizing that there is a higher self and that there is a higher intelligence that's taking care of everything. So from that moment, you can choose to relax to it or to surrender to it. And surrender is a conscious choice. It's the fact that you stop worrying. You just know that Amsterdam is a crowded place and there are a lot of activities and a lot of events where you connect with people. But when you go there and you don't have a place to sleep, then you need to trust that the universe will take care of everything. And it was a bit challenging for me because I think the most inspiring story was in Amsterdam.
Just a
I will,
sec. Let's
I
let's
will tell you this one after you
okay.
translate.
Ja. Just a quick translation. Ja, dus wat Hassen aangeeft, en ik doe het even heel kort, en dat vind ik heel mooi. Ik stelde hem de vraag, omdat ik zelf een eerste lijn heb in mijn SQ. Dus dat is heel basic eerste lijn. En ik heb ze ook
It's my pearl, not my
ja,
SQ.
maar voor mij, voor
Ah,
mij.
for you, sorry, yes.
En Radiance en Purpose zijn ook bij mij eerste lijnen. Dus ik vroeg hem of hij eerste lijnen heeft in zijn Jinky profiel of in zijn Star Pro. Omdat dat zo raakt aan die basisveiligheid. En Hassen geeft heel mooi aan, hij heeft maar één eerste lijn en dat is in de Pearl. En de Pearl voor hem is echt dit quantum archetype wat in jezelf zit, waar je dus echt mee kunt connecten, diep in jezelf en wat dan echt naar voren komt. En hij heeft daar als Jinky, de Jinky 20, die gaat over aanwezigheid en zelfverzekerdheid. En die heeft hij nog 2 keer in zijn profiel, ook als een uitdaging onder andere. En hij geeft daarmee aan dat hij deze uitdaging dus echt heel bewust is aangegaan om dit stuk in hem naar boven te halen. Om ervoor te kiezen dat hij dit er laat zijn. En om ervoor te kiezen, hij zegt het is een hele bewuste keus om te kiezen voor overgave. En in zijn geval overgave aan het aanwezig zijn. Zonder meer, vanuit wie hij is in elk moment. En toen ging het verhaal
So,
weer verder.
Yeah, because and then it's nice to hear from you which inspiring story you picked up in Amsterdam to
so Amsterdam was the first moment where I really felt the fear was coming that I will be homeless and I will be roaming around. And at the end, I have my car, so I could sleep in the car, or I have enough money to go to a hotel and do what everybody else would do. And there was something that felt a bit wrong about that you are not. That was like a failure. I felt that I shouldn't come to that point. So I was feeling that it wasn't really anxiety, but okay, if that happens, I wouldn't be so proud of myself or not that happy. And then I said, oh, actually, I'm not the one that should be worried. There is somebody taking care of it on the higher level. I should trust that this higher intelligence will take care of everything. And I was there because I was visiting a friend for his birthday. And he had a new partner, so he would not be able to host me. And then I got another invitation for a cacao ceremony and African drums and ecstatic dance for 4 hours. It was a full moon with Man Caravan, and it was very beautiful. The tribe and the connection and the music. And the friend that offered to host me, she lived in The Hague, and she said that you can sleep in my couch, and there is this event. You would love it. You should come. It's gonna be amazing. So I left my friend who was hosting his birthday, after a nice time together, and I went to this different event. And when I turned off my phone, I turned on my phone, I found a message from her saying, I would like to stay in my own bubble tomorrow. Do you know if can you stay with your friends or just see if somebody else can host you? And I was like, huh, interesting. Okay, got it. And I always thought that when somebody says yes and it feels like a yes, then my friends are reliable usually, and that was the first time where I was confronted to maybe not everybody is, and maybe people can change their mind. And how do I react with that? Because I have no control over this. So I had the choice to worry about it or to just be in that acceptance. So I decided not to argue about it. I just said that I answered in 2 words. It's fine. And I went to the event, and she was one of the last people to enter. And she asked me, how do I feel? I said, yeah, that's funny. Do you mean before you arrived? Because I was just receiving the sun and going into a state of balance. And then I opened my eyes and she was in front of me. I said, I have to ask you a question. And I'm not trying to convince you. I just want to know something. Why did you say yes? And she said, interesting. I really felt that I wanted to invite you and I wanted to host you. And it really felt like a yes. But this morning, I felt something was off. And she decided to decide by herself to send me a message to cancel it or to say, okay, you can just do whatever you want, but you cannot rely on me. And then we had a nice conversation, which ended by me saying, I'm not trying to convince you. If you have something, I would like to have this conversation, so let's do it. And after 5 minutes, we got a nice hug and we go to the dance and we enjoyed the party. And at the end, she was worried about me. She couldn't leave before she made sure that I had a place to sleep. And then I said, no, I don't. And she said, you can sleep at my couch. I said, it's nice that you changed your mind, but I would say no. And she said, but if I'm asking you is that if I'm offering you this, is because it's okay for me. And I said, yeah, but I feel that it would not be okay for me because I feel that I changed your mind. So I had to accept, I decided that I would not go with her because it would feel like um, it was not aligned with the whole process. So I really didn't speak with her to change her mind. And eventually she made the right decision. So I'm very, very happy, very grateful for her offer, but I couldn't accept it. And I was at the stairs of this church at midnight speaking with one of the musicians. And he said, I'm from Senegal. I said, yeah, it's nice. I'm from Tunisia. We are both from Africa. I said, what are you doing in Amsterdam? Do you live here? I said, I live here. It's not exactly what I would say. I'm doing this 30 days homeless challenge where I don't. And then there was a woman. We were four on those stairs. And she turned to me and said, 30 days homeless challenge. What are you doing, man? And she said, not even 5 minutes later, she just gave me her keys and said, I don't know why I'm doing this, but please bring me back the keys tomorrow. Don't make me regret it.
Oh,
She
So
gave me
like
the
that
keys
it,
to
yeah,
her
like that it
office in
is.
the center of Amsterdam. And that woman was a Reiki healer. And I was super lucky to find. So these were the two last people remaining from the ecstatic dance.
wow. Let's
And
translate this for a bit. It's too beautiful to learn.
yeah,
Yeah. Would you like to do, Tanya, or I?
Ja, it's okay. Hassen vertelt over zijn ervaring in Amsterdam, die zo bijzonder was. Ook in het kader van, oké, wanneer ben je dan homeless? Wanneer komt die angst op? En hij was daar met het gevoel van, oké, ik heb nu geen plek om te slapen. Ik kan altijd wel in mijn auto. Ik heb ook wel geld voor een hotel. Maar dan doe ik tekort aan mijn challenge. Ik wil echt bij mijn challenge blijven. Nou ja, uiteindelijk kwam die op een feest terecht van een vriend en was daar een vrouw die eigenlijk meteen heel enthousiast in het contact met hem zei: Oh, maar je kan wel bij mij slapen op de bank. Ik woon in Den Haag en we hebben daar nog een feestje, nog een event met ecstatic dance. Dus je bent van harte welkom en dat is hartstikke leuk. Dus kom maar bij mij. En uiteindelijk, een tijdje daarna, zei ze via een berichtje via de telefoon: Oh nee, toch maar niet, toch maar niet. Nee, ik heb toch besloten dat het niet zo oké voelt voor mij. En toen gebeurde er van alles bij Hassen. Van ja, kan ik dan niet vertrouwen? Ik ben gewend om te kunnen vertrouwen op iemand zijn ja. En waarom was het eerst een ja en nu een nee? En nou ja, er gebeurde van alles. En uiteindelijk is hij wel op dat feest terechtgekomen. Kwam haar ook tegen, want ze stond zomaar in één keer voor zijn neus. En toen zei hij, ja, ik wil helemaal niet mijn mening opdringen of zo. Ik wil je ook niet overtuigen, maar ik wil graag van je weten. Waarom heb je in eerste instantie ja gezegd? En werd het een nee? Ja, ik werd toch wakker daarna en ik had toch zoiets van, nou, nee, het voelde toch niet helemaal goed. En nou ja, toen heb ik je een berichtje gestuurd. Nou ja, het was een heel goed gesprek, waarbij je toch ook wel ziet dat er heel snel een opening moet zijn om je kwetsbaarheid in je hart te laten zien in heel korte tijd, want je bent overal maar even. Toch was er een dikke knuffel met deze vrouw en ze hebben een hartstikke fijne dag en avond nog gehad. En uiteindelijk was ze toch nog bezorgd en kwam ze vragen: Joh, Hassen, kun je wel ergens slapen? Want als je, hè, zeg maar, heb je een plek om te zijn? En toen zei: Nou ja, nou eigenlijk niet. Toen zei ik: Ja, maar dan kan je toch wel bij mij op de bank. Kom maar bij mij dan toch op de bank slapen. Toen zei Hassen: Nou nee, voor mij is het nu eigenlijk een nee. Dus nee, ik kom nu niet bij jou slapen. Het leven zal wel voor me zorgen. Dus, nou ja, zo geschiedde. Hij kwam op een trap terecht voor een kerk en daar zaten ook wat mensen die daar muziek hadden gemaakt. Hij raakte in gesprek en vertelde over zijn 30 dagen daklozen challenge, zal ik maar zeggen. Homeless challenge. En er was een vrouw die zei, huh? Wat doe jij? Oh, dit is boeiend. Wat is dit dan? Dit vind ik intrigerend. En ze zei zomaar, nou, hier heb je mijn sleutels. Daar woon ik. Ga maar lekker daar slapen. Geef me morgen maar weer een keer de sleutels terug. Nou ja, zo zie je hoe dingen dan toch ja, heel mooi lopen, hoe mensen elkaar vinden op basis van toch een energieveld wat er is. En, ja, en hoe er dan toch weer een volgende plek ontstaat waar je kan zijn. En de vraag die ik nu aan Hassan zou willen stellen is hoe groot het contrast is in het normale leven wanneer je in zo'n korte tijd toch die diepte in moet gaan. So Hassan, there is a question which is in me to you. Because normally we take our time and connect and step by step. But in this case, you have to open up immediate, nearly immediate, and you have to go into the depth of a conversation with someone if you want to feel and have the real conversation. So, how was that? What is your experience with that? To do that, to open up so quickly and be vulnerable?
Yeah, absolutely. There is something about the culture, I think, where it's about relying on your community or your tribe and the people around you. So there is this strong meaning in the culture when you ask for help and ask for for whoever wants to support you. Um, and this is why when I did my video, I said, if you want to support me in my 30 days homeless challenge, here is why, here is how you can do it. And here is why I am doing this. So people can invite me. So I don't have um, to be the one asking for anything. If you want to do something nice, I would be happy to receive. And that's usually something that I wouldn't do. So that was the first step of putting myself in the position where I need help. And I am mostly the kind of person that when I am driving and somebody is on the side of the streets and needs to be driven, I would take a complete stranger and have a super interesting conversation. When people need money, I will borrow money or give them money if they are really in need. I'm usually the upper hand. And there was something challenging in that I noticed when I went back to Tunisia because there was this guy that was I took with me in the highway, and I got this discussion with him about being the upper hand. So I didn't want to be the lower hand and the one asking and maybe not asking but receiving because I needed somebody to take care of me. So all my education, all my growth was about building more and more stability and only relying on myself. So I don't need the help of anyone. But there is something. It's about closing yourself to the dynamic exchange of energy with people. So my rule was that I am offering a dinner to whoever is offering, proposing a couch or a bed. So that would be the energy exchange. And I was led each time to meet certain people with whom I had very deep conversations. And we are exchanging the keys of the house at the end with this woman, to which I bought a nice lunch. And she was super happy and said, if you come back to Amsterdam, you can go. She would have a nice dinner or lunch, and I will have a place to sleep. So that is an amazing exchange. And for me, it was important that I start by asking something from others so people can be generous. And that's a pattern where um, you need to make conscious choices. It's not up to anyone, and most of the people are still in the healing journey, so they are still struggling with certain traumas and certain patterns that they need to heal and to release a lot of energy before they move to their gift. And when I speak about the 20, for me, it's also presence, which is the city. Um, and the city of presence is what we try to build in the Gene Keys 24-hour retreat, because there is a space between Saturday midday and Sunday midday where we are here for holding the space for that transmission to happen. And once you start to connect to your highest potentials, even if it is whatever gene key it is, and even if it's not in your chart, and maybe it's because somebody is inspiring to you, because you follow some role model figures or some historic figures, or some could be religious as well, or we have these could be also mythical people or cinema or something like that, where you can connect to the expression of the city um, in the Star Wars movie, maybe, you know? And if you are able to connect with that character, you imbibe yourself from the energy of the city. So you're not anymore in that fighting the patterns, but you are here, you are opening to your gifts,
Yeah.
and you see your potential and how far you can go with that.
Yeah. In the end, in between, before we do the translation, because it's really nice and also really spot on how you explain it. It's a shift in the higher position, when you are the giver, or the lower position, as you say, when you are the asker. It's more like, oh, there is no higher and lower and better or worse or good and bad. There is only an exchange of energy. That's a bit
Yes.
what I feel in your story in the end. And then, yeah, the second part of the connecting with the city, yeah, it's beautiful. It's, I think, coming out of this change, this shift. Is that a bit right, would I say?
Yeah, it's about the moment where you trust that you can still be in a higher energy, whether you are receiving or you can. So that's exactly what I learned through the journey, is that I am not asking from a position of need. I'm asking from a position of trust, and that I'm offering the chance for somebody to do something nice. And I will have this exchange and this dynamic where we spend hours and hours exploring the gene keys and exchanging those keys together. But
Nice.
this comes from me starting to say, okay, this is my intention to the universe. I'm open to be vulnerable, and I show up to people, and then magic happens and you get opportunities from everywhere.
This is
Beautiful.
really nice. Nienke,
Ja.
misschien kun jij dit samenvatten in een stukje Nederlands. Het is zo mooi.
Ja, en het is zo mooi dat ik mezelf, I was a bit lost in translation, Hassan. So I mean, I was just mesmerized by a story. Wat ik ervan kan reproduceren, en vergeef me dat ik niet alles pak. Wat ik heel mooi vind is het beeld wat hij maakt met de upper hand en de lower hand. Dus de ontvangende en de gevende hand, waar hij nu heel erg mee heeft geëxperimenteerd. En je kunt natuurlijk komen vanuit een behoeftig willen hebben, behoeftig willen ontvangen. En dat voelt niet fijn, want dan zit je niet in een uitgebalanceerde positie. Dan zit je niet vanuit zijn Jinky 20 in je aanwezigheid en in je zelfverzekerdheid. Ehm, je kunt geven ook vanuit een hoge, ik sta boven jouw positie. Beide zijn niet echt in balans. Maar je kunt ze ook allebei hanteren vanuit je eigen midden, waarbij je ontvangt echt vanuit een diep vertrouwen in jezelf. Omdat je, die Jinky die hij 3 keer heeft, aanwezigheid, omdat je er werkelijk bent. Omdat je werkelijk in je midden bent. En dan nodigt hij de ontvanger ook uit om mee te doen in zijn dansje. Het is het dansje van de yin-yang, wat ik er ook in zie. De yin-yang dans, die continu in elkaar overvloot. Dus hij benadrukt ook de hele tijd zijn conscious choice, zijn hele bewuste keuze. Ik kies voor deze challenge. Ik kies ervoor om iets te vragen. Hij heeft eerst een vraag uitgezet op social media van, goh, wie zou mij willen hosten in ruil voor een lunch of een diner? En op die manier is hij die uitdaging aangegaan gedurende 30 dagen. En hij geeft mensen dan eigenlijk de ruimte om, nou, geef maar wat je te geven hebt. En ik ontvang en dan geef ik weer en dan ontvang jij. En dus die dans, die heeft hij heel erg gemaakt. En dat voelt prachtig en dat voelt heel erg in balans. En hij geeft ook aan dat hij heeft nu 2 mini-retreats gedaan. En hij gaat er nog eentje doen. Dus de eerste was in België, de tweede was in Duitsland, geloof ik. En hij gaat nog eentje doen in Zwitserland. En om af te ronden is het fijn dat je daar nog wat over vertelt. But we will translate it in English. En in zijn retraites, die zijn heel kort, maar daarin schept hij eigenlijk ook de ruimte om in die aanwezigheid, in die city van Jinky 20 te komen, de divine presence, waar geven en ontvangen moeiteloos in elkaar flowen en niemand boven of beneden staat, maar in een soort dans zijn samen. I hope I did a good job, Hassen, but we were really inspired by your story and your stories because there are so many. Just looking at the time, I would love for you to like wrap it up with your retreat, your kind of mini retreat. It's short, right? It's a few days. What is the essence of what you're bringing there? You already told a little bit of it, but what is it? Because you have one coming still, right, in May?
Yes. By the time they listen to it, there will be some other ones coming in June, probably, or
Great.
July.
That's nice.
So what we are doing in this space is that so usually I am partnering with another guide that will hold the organizational aspect, or somebody that is motivated by the Gene Keys and wants to host something related to the Gene Keys.
Yeah, just
And
one
we
sec. You said is it not a guy, but a guide, like a Jinkies guide.
guide, yes,
Yeah.
Gene Keys guide. Could be a woman as well.
Yes, exactly.
And it may be a woman actually in Denmark next, maybe in June. I'm not. We need to confirm June and July. Maybe Denmark and Norway, or maybe Holland or Germany, or something else. So depending on where the opportunity is coming from. So the idea is that when people come, we start doing this 3 hour pose with the mantra of the Aum, and then we have time to connect with each other. We try to meet from a soul level, so it's not important who you are in life and where do you come from. It's really about connecting to that part of you that lives more than one life, that will still be here after your death. And once you connect to that level, then it's easier to do the inner work because this is literally what is happening. The interaction is not between who I think I am and who you think you are. It's about a connection to that higher realm or higher dimension, where we are simply opening the space every 3 hours to do one sphere, then the next, then the pathway in between them, which is something you can do at any level of the golden path, because the Gene Keys is laid as a map.
Yeah.
And you can start with one sphere, then you go with a pathway and you end to a different sphere, and you hold contemplations for both. So usually people do their contemplations before, and this is not the first time they are doing it, but even when it's the first time they arrive to our retreat, the idea is that for maybe the first hour, there is an inner contemplation. So you have time to look up your line and your sphere. And then we have an exchange between, like the community calls we do in the Gene Keys community. And at the end, we have a sharing circle around that sphere. So we open one sphere, then we open the second, then we do the meditation or the contemplation of the pathway at night. And for me, the most important part is that's preparation work. What happens in the dream time is very important.
Oh, wow.
Because if you sustain that energy, then or that space, that energetic space, there will be activation happening to you inside of your different bodies and connecting with your coming back from your mental body. It will start making sense, and you have this insight. And then when it comes to your emotional body, then you get the breakthrough, and then you feel the release of energy.
Wow.
And if you're lucky enough, then you get the epiphany where you feel it in your cells. You feel that download and that alignment with these higher archetypes coming, activating in your body. Um, and usually we finish the next day with a big sharing. We did a cacao ceremony in the morning, and it's always about keeping that state of presence till Sunday midday, and then we are closing all together.
Wow.
And from there, I guess things keep happening in your life.
Yeah.
But that's the container in which I describe myself as a human catalyst. So
Yeah.
when people are ready to accelerate the process, the alchemical reaction, then I'm available. I'm here.
Great,
We
great.
can just spend not even 24 hours if you want to host me. We have a nice dinner, a nice chat, and the next day you will feel a lot of things start to change in your life.
And
Wow.
is there because yeah, it's very inviting. It's you know it's really nice to hear how you build it up and how you make it as a circle again. So there is a beginning and an end, but there is a new beginning at the end. Is there somewhere a place on the internet where you put this information, where you do your where people can find what you just told us? Is do you have a website or do you post on social media? Because then we can put it under this video. It would be nice, I think, when people want to know more about this, because
Uh, it- Mhm.
it's I cannot translate it in a package, but maybe you have it on the internet somewhere.
Yeah, sure, but I would recommend people to check the latest updates. And my Instagram page is hans.sen.23, so we can share it later. And I would recommend people to go to my link tree, which is linktree 23h23.art. And that's my artistic, the art of synchronicities, I would say, because the 23 is my favorite number. And then I always see this number 23 at night. And this is like the signs we connect to our soul or our angels or whatever you want to call them, where we get those confirmations. So that's where I would lead people. I will share the link with you. So
Yeah.
linktree 23h23.art or my Instagram, which is Hansen. Uh, and my Facebook also is very active. I have a bit more people on Facebook than Instagram, probably 3,000 or something followers. Um, and personally, what I would like to share or to translate to them is the part where this process that happens inside of us, that when we come to alignment, it's not just there is this mental body that, okay, now it makes sense, this is the insight, then the emotional with the breakthrough, then it comes to the epiphany, to your physical cells. That's, I think, the most important part for people to understand, because you can do it in many various different ways, and I'm sure you are doing this as well in your work.
Yeah.
But it's understanding that process
Yeah.
that helps people to dive in it.
Ja.
Ja, beautiful. Ja, wat Hassan vertelt, om het even af te sluiten. En het past heel mooi bij waar wij als Dinkies Nederland nu staan. Namelijk de lancering, de boeklancering van De kunst van contemplatie, The Art of Contemplation. Die wij 21 juni gaan houden. Je vindt alles op onze website dinkiesnederland.nl. Weer een mooi event op een prachtige plek. Je kunt het boekje daar als eerste gaan ontvangen. En het past zo mooi in Hassen zijn verhaal. En dit hebben we niet van tevoren bedacht, dus dat komt ook weer heel mooi samen. Dat hij zegt, ja, in mijn retraites gaat het echt over dat aanwezig zijn. En over het mentale inzicht dat je krijgt door met elkaar die contemplatie aan te gaan. En die emotionele doorbraak die er dan komt. En die fysieke epiphany waarbij je hele lijf die shift maakt van, ja, ik snap nu dat het op een diepere laag zich afspeelt en dat het vanuit de ziel gaat en vanuit die pure aanwezigheid. En dat is wat Hassen al rondreizende in de wereld, en ik geloof dat die uitdaging veel langer gaat duren dan 1 maand, wat hij ja, eigenlijk leeft, voor ons voorleeft. Hoe kan het anders met 3 Gene Keys, 20 in zijn profiel? Dus dat draagt hij uit en jullie zijn van harte uitgenodigd om contact met hem te leggen, om aan zijn retreat mee te doen. Ik denk dat het Engels geen enkel probleem is op zijn retreat. De links posten we allemaal onder de video. Tanja, heb jij nog een laatste afsluitende...
Nou, het wezenlijke is dat wanneer je inderdaad dat mentale, dat emotionele en dat lijfelijke, hè, dat embodyen, als dat zo'n diepe laag heeft bereikt, dan voegt Hassen er eigenlijk ook aan toe, en die herken ik heel erg, dat het dan gaat over datgene wat geen geboorte en geen dood kent, wat ons overstijgt, wat er altijd is, wat altijd maar doorgaat. En daar krijg ik echt kippenvel van. Echt geweldig, geweldig. Dus Hassan, really, really out of my heart. Thank you, thank you, thank you for sharing this beautiful, beautiful story. It's not only a story, it's a way of living the gene keys in every cell of your body. And we are very grateful for you as a role model, as someone who we only have to look at. How do you do this? We only have to look. Beautiful, beautiful. It was really a heart connected conversation we had with you today. And I think people who look at this or listen to this are really inspired, and they will look you up on the internet. And I hope a lot of people will connect with you as well. Nienke also told about the 21st of June when we have our book launch of the Dutch version of The Art of Contemplation. When you are in Holland, you are very welcome to come and to connect and to share with us. It would
Yeah, and if you can't make it the 21st of June, let's stay connected together and let's organize something, whatever. We don't know yet, but that will fall into place.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for the invitation. Thank you for offering me the space to share. The way I see myself is not that much as a role model. I'm more of a dancer, you know, the artist that inspires people by just dancing with life. So thank you for seeing me and recognizing that in me. And I hope that it will lead to other opportunities where we can meet each other and meet the people that are listening to us today or in the future, and yeah, keep that higher resonance and thriving for our highest potential.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's
Thank
do
you.
that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. En
Yes.
aan alle mensen die hebben gekeken en geluisterd naar deze podcast, dank je wel ook voor je aanwezigheid hier. Want ook dat wordt gevoeld in de podcast. En we zien je heel graag weer in een volgende. En vergeet niet even op de website te kijken, jinkiesnederland.nl, voor het komende event en voor het nieuwe boekje, The Art of Contemplation, de kunst van contemplatie in het Nederlands. Heel graag tot een volgende. En voor nu, have a beautiful day and see you again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. Bye.
Bye.